Physical therapy, private practice success as a practice owner is just like becoming a Porsche race car driver. If you want to learn how to drive fast, you get in a car with a professional driver who drives fast. Then you swap and the driver sits next to you and they make you drive fast. You feel it, you experience it, you envision it, you are motivated by it, you're enthused. It's within you, you're living it with the comfort of a mentor who's driving you, directing you, guiding you, and pushing you to go outside your comfort zone, because the greatest things in your life will always happen when you work outside your comfort zone. And from there, you'll make good habits, good policies, good protocols, good rules and guidelines to follow, because every professional athlete will tell you doing the basics superlatively well, better than everyone else, is what is the leading ingredient to their success. Why am I sharing that with you? Because I want you to apply the basics better than everybody else through great mechanics, great logistics, great policies, great standard operating procedures and protocols that are senior to none. The whole reason why this is called Secrets to the Top 10% is because I was able to evaluate, when I won Practice of the Year over the next 5 years, what were the common denominators that the top practices nationwide had already figured out, already knew, and were succeeding with, and they were benefiting from. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you 5 of the best policies, the best structural things, the best systematic changes that the top 10% of practice owners across the country already know, already use and apply. So if you watch this far, you're going to be the benefactor of these top 5 policies. So let's get started. Let's dive into it. Number 1, the absolute best thing you can do on a clinical side is make sure that every single evaluation is done by your DPT, who then introduces a second clinician at the end of the eval and says, hey, Sally Jones, I'm going to introduce you to Brett, or I'm going to introduce you to Tammy. She's a physical therapist that works here just like myself. And what we're going to do is we're going to schedule you out your entire plan of care between her and myself. She's a seasoned therapist, has a high skill set in this area, has a lot of experience working together. You're going to get the benefit of 2 therapists, not 1. You're going to get the benefit of double the schedule hours. So you're going to have a greater chance to find better times and days that are best for you, so that you'll be more consistent in receiving your physical therapy care. We're going to learn from each other as well and see what each other's doing, so it enhances our skill set and the application of treating you. So better days, better times, better schedule, better compliance, better educated application of care, because you have the expertise of 2 therapists, not 1. And should there need to be a vacation or sick or something like that, one of us goes on holiday, you're going to be able to keep your appointments with the other one, because unlikely that both of us are going to be off at the same time. So it's better for the clinic, better for the patient, and better for the therapist. That's a wonderful policy. You do not lose intracare reliability unless you're introducing that third person. Statistically speaking, that patient's going to have a nice, consistent plan of care and a high accelerated rate of outcome and performance because of the skill set of 2 therapists. So policy number 1, schedule all patients out their entire plan of care between 2 therapists. Number 2 policy. One of the things that I really like to make sure that my front desk does not do, so let's go to another part of the business, is you do not call a prospective patient, and key word is prospective here, and give them their verification of benefits over the phone. Why wouldn't I do that? You want to turn people away and have them never come in and take their evaluation, have their evaluation with you. That's a surefire way to drop your conversion rate. 100%. I've seen it 1,000 times statistically. You think you're giving them a benefit as a courtesy. Well, let me tell you this. Number 1, when the patient calls and wants to be a patient of yours and they give their benefits and they're registering with your front desk is going to share with them. So, John Smith, I'm so glad that you gave this information. I'd love to schedule you. We're going to go ahead and verify your benefits as a courtesy to you. And then when you come in, by the time you get here, we'll have all that written up and we'll go over your consent to treat, your welcome to the practice folder, and we'll go through all your benefits. Patient's going to say, well, I want to know what my out-of-pocket is. I want to know what my copay and coinsurance is before I take the time to schedule this evaluation. And you're like, well, I completely understand. If you're interested in finding that out yourself, you can flip your card over, call that number, and surely you can get that information, because that's the relationship between you and your carrier. We do the call service, we do the calls as a courtesy to our patients, and our patients are, when you're here in our waiting room, going through things with us and signing up and enrolling as a patient, and that's the time that we can go ahead and convey that information in regards to your coverage. that we verified over the phone with your insurance carrier. It's a lot of work for us to make these calls, so it takes us some time to get it done, but we always have it done by the time you come in. So at that time, you can make your decision. Well, I'm not sure I want to come in if I don't know what my benefits are. Well, I completely understand. I'm more than happy to do it for you and go over it with you when you're here. But if you want to find out in a shorter period of time than that, you surely can just give your insurance company a call. Well, I think I'm going to call somewhere else and go somewhere. Well, that's fine. Chances are, if that person got any information over the phone from your front desk that they didn't like, they're not coming in anyways. Here's the thing, guys. This person is a prospect. They're not your patient. And do you want to just spend time and payroll and energy and effort running your front desk ragged, verifying benefits, or your insurance verification officer verifying benefits on people that aren't even your patient? Because that's essentially what you're doing. You're going to be eating up and gobbling up valuable time and resources from talented people within your group. I mean, trust me, we do verifications, authorizations for people all around the country. It's a tedious job. Sometimes you're on the phone 20, 30, 45 minutes just to get those benefits. Sometimes it's a portal and that's easy, that's great. But authorizations and it's tedious and you're just losing revenue with that policy. And your conversion factor will surely drop. Trust me. The top 10% of practices across the country, they don't do that. I mean, they'll be the first ones to tell you, we'll do it for our patients, but we're not going to do it ahead of that schedule, that's for sure. What's another great policy? Let's go back to the clinical side of the fence. Here's another great policy that the top 10% do. They have a vacation policy that says no two full-time people in the same office will be off at the same time. And should one full-time person be off for a week vacation, the remaining therapists in that office all increase their hours by 5 that week. It's not a favor, it's not an ask, it's policy. Policy is when a full-time therapist is off in that week, all the rest of the remaining therapists increase 5 hours that week. It could be during lunch, it could be after hours, it could be come in early, it could be an additional time on another day. But what that does is it allows us to not see this sudden drop in the caseload just because somebody went on vacation. It allows us, because we're seeing all the patients are being seen between two people, it allows us to open up more schedule slots, more time slots, so we can better accommodate our patients. Let's face it, what are we here for? We're not here for ourselves. We're here to exchange in abundance with our patients. So by having a policy that allows us to exchange in abundance with our patients, you're going to be known for that. And your patients are going to be appreciative of that. And your referral sources are going to see that this isn't such a problem. And your practice revenue and your profitability is going to go up because you're more stable on a month-to-month, week-to-week basis. I mean, we're coming up on the 4th of July. What do you think is going to happen? A number of people are going to be taking off, but if you have a policy that you can compensate and override that, absolutely, you're going to be successful in maintaining that level of revenue for sure. Let's go to another area of the business. Let's go into billing and collections, right? Let's move into that area. Well, if you have an EMR system that takes more than 3 clicks to get to where you want to go, you have got the wrong system. Number 2, if your EMR system doesn't put, I know this doesn't sound like policies, but it's my policy that I like to coach my startup owners when looking for an EMR system. If your EMR system doesn't put a widget or something on the schedule to indicate who owes you money, whether it be a coinsurance, a deductible, balance due because the insurance paid and now it's been shifted to the patient, not just, I said deductible, coinsurance, it's got to be everything, every possible way, because the fewer statements go out, the better your cash flow and the better the patient payment compliance. So we absolutely have to have a way to collect as much over the counter while they're still an active patient. Trust me, we do billing for hundreds of offices across the country. Our billing goes out every single day. Every single day billing goes out because we want to transfer that balance due to the patient so we can collect at the time of service while they're still coming in. What's a stamp today? $9? I mean, sending out a paper statement is crazy. Sending out email statements is better, but even that, some patients are like, I didn't check my email. I thought it was spam. I deleted it. We're in a no-win situation here. Either we spend a ton of money and send out a paper statement, which sometimes is ignored, or we pump out a bunch of email statements, which are clicked and spammed or clicked and dropped into the delete box or the trash can. You do the best you can. Trust me, we fight this every single day. So we try to educate our patients to have a heads up and look out for their emails so that they don't do that. But this is the kind of thing with these EMR systems. If I can collect the money over the counter, I got far less of that to chase after. Number 2, number 3, whatever number I'm on. So billing and collections policies are super duper important. Verification of benefits and authorizations. You should verify benefits literally same day, within 24 hours at the outmost point, and authorization should be done literally same day, but within 48 hours at the outmost point. So you have to hold in the fort on that and have a visit limit tracker so that you don't start seeing patients without authorizations. This is a very tricky thing to have in your office, which is why a lot of people are outsourcing that today. So that should help you a lot if you just look at like taking the tedious things off the burden of my front desk so that they could be more forward facing. That policy change alone, just not taking on, like I would never, in today's world, I would never take on credentialing, verifications, and authorizations. Totally, billing, gone. I would never run my practice with that ever again. I would rather just pay a percentage of what comes in, so I'm only paying for what I use. Let's get back to another successful policy that you can have when running a successful clinic in today's world. Another good policy is to evaluate your schedule based on your demographics. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that my clinic, if I have an outpatient brick and mortar clinic, that I'm able to run a schedule that's compatible with my patient population that ensures me that I can get 3.75 units or more of care with each and every engagement. Policy is to run that schedule, run your numbers. It's going to be either a patient come in every 30 minutes, staying 55 to 65 minutes, a patient coming in every 45, or a patient coming in every 40. Those are going to be your absolute best schedules. The patients that are coming in on the 60, staying 60, and you're only seeing like, I don't know, 8 or 9 a day, is for the parts of the country where people are still collecting 140 a visit or 130 a visit. If you're still doing that, I get it. But guess what? Your therapists are going to be very inefficient, and they're not going to see anywhere near the going average right now in the country of 55 to 60 visits a week in clinics nationwide. So, but if you're going to do it, policy, find a schedule that's compatible with the patient population you're having so that it can ensure an exchange in abundance and volume of care of 3.75 units payable or better. That's going to be a really firm policy that you're going to want to hold in on. Here's another great policy. I need to make sure that I hold in cluster booking for my front desk. They roll in every Monday morning, they look at the schedule, and the policy is any evals that are scheduled from Wednesday to Friday, they're going to call those evals and they're going to move them up in the schedule. Any open slots I have from Monday to Wednesday, I'm going to invite those evals to move up, and I'm going to do it in a courtesy way. It's going to look like this. Hi, John, this is Brian from ABC Physical Therapy. How are you? And they tell me how they are. I'm just giving you a courtesy call because I know you're on the schedule waiting for your eval this Thursday at 2, and I did have a recent opening Tuesday at 2. If you'd like, I'd like to offer it to you before I call anybody else on our wait list and move you up in our schedule so you can get the physical therapy care you need earlier. Obviously, it's been shown, I wouldn't say obviously the patient, but I would say it's been shown that early intervention is improved intervention. You get better outcomes and better results by being seen sooner rather than later. Is that something that would work for you? Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks. I'm sitting here with a sore shoulder. I'd love to come in earlier. And you move them in. If they say, oh no, I don't want to move, this works great for my childcare or whatever, hey, fantastic, you can keep that appointment, no problem, just wanted to give you that courtesy call. At least they know you're thinking of them and you're being a patient care advocate. That's the attitude, that's the training we have to have. If the patients hear the communication coming across like you're advocating in their behalf, they're gonna love coming into your clinic. That's what this is all about. Just like if you wanna be a high-speed race car driver or you just like the sport of cars and driving well, take training from a professional. Learn the rules of the road. Learn how to pull down on the wheel instead of pushing with the wheel, or vice versa. I can't remember which way the instructor said it needed to be. Bad on me. But that is what you want in your clinic. Like, what is the portfolio of business? What is the portfolio, if you would say, I say SOPs. What is the standard operating procedure? Not necessarily a portfolio of business. I think of portfolio in like, how do I run my practice management portfolio is what I'm thinking when I say that. But how do I run my SOPs? It supports my brand, my company culture, and it's all about advocating for the patients. So cluster booking is a unique way that you can advocate for the patients, for sure. They're gonna absolutely love that. So there's some successful policies that we run each and every day, each and every week and month that are gonna yield some tremendous results for you. I'll share this last one. Last really great policy is when I am in a clinic that has a high wait list, high volume, I'm in no shortage of patients, I will have a policy that I want to create teams that are going to treat the patients. It's an operational team. So if I'm outside the university of whatever and I see a lot of students, or I have a highly employed part of the country and I can see people in abundance, I'm going to have red team, green team, blue team, DPT1, DPT2, PTA3, and tech. They're going to be on that team. Now each one's going to run their own schedule, except for the tech, of course, who's going to support that team. The policy is this, the full complement of it is this. When you're building out these teams, or when you're a startup clinic and you're hiring to be successful and you're scaling up, you always want to start with yourself as a DPT, or hire your first DPT. You hire your second PT, then the PTA, and somewhere in between that second PT and PTA, you bring in that tech. So when you know you're getting to that pool of 3, that's when that tech's going to walk in. But do not make the mistake of having a full-time PT and the second hire is going to be a PTA. Because what's going to happen is that PT's life is going to be all about feeding the PTA, keeping that PTA busy, keeping them efficient, keeping them full. That's too stressful. You're going to want 2 PTs before you ever bring in that first PTA. Once you do that, have that tech right on the heels. That should be super duper right then and there on the heels. And make sure that PTA, or I'm sorry, correct myself, make sure that tech is like a Swiss Army knife. They're getting Google reviews, social media, they're checking people in, they're bringing people back, they're keeping people company while they're on the mat stretching while you're documenting. So there's full engagement all the way around in the clinic, and nobody feels like this is a deli and there's number taking going on. So those are my policies that I think are going to distinguish your clinic and make you a differentiator from everybody else. This is what the top clinics do. Some of what I shared with you was culture, some was policy, some was mechanics. All of it has been proven successful over the past 10, 15 years. All of what I just shared with you now has a proven track record of success. So take some of those tools, apply them, and I guarantee you, you're going to be successful with them too.